Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for July 11th. July 11th is the 192nd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 193rd in leap years, with 173 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is spavined. Spavined is an adjective that means suffering from spavin disease, involving swelling of joints in horses, or old, decrepit, broken down. This comes to us from Middle English and Old French before that, a word that means swelling. And with that, we're going to start with the birthday of Scottish King Robert the Bruce, born July 11th, 1274. He lived to the age of 54. This is the birthday of Sarah Good, born July 11th, 1653. Sarah Good was one of the first 3 women to be accused of witchcraft in the Salem witch trials. These trials occurred in 1692 in colonial Massachusetts, and it's a long, complex, and terrible story. The minister, Reverend Nicholas Noyes II, tried to get her to confess, but she proclaimed her innocence to the end. When they declared her guilty anyway, she yelled at Noyes, "I am no more a witch than you are a wizard. And if you take my life, God will give you blood to drink." Sure enough, 25 years later, Noyes developed some sort of hemorrhage and literally did choke on his own blood and died from it. Back to Sarah Good, though. She was hanged at the age of 39. Mathematical calculations suggest that it was on July 11th of 1735 that Pluto moved inside the orbit of Neptune for the last time before 1979. This is the birthday of American lawyer and politician and 6th President of the United States, John Quincy Adams, born July 11th, 1767. He lived to the age of 80. United States took possession of Detroit from Great Britain under terms of the Jay Treaty on July 11th, 1796. On July 11th, 1804, Vice President Aaron Burr mortally wounded former Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton in a duel. This is the birthday of James Abbott McNeill Whistler, born July 11th, 1834. He's best known for a painting of his mother. The painting is actually called Arrangement in Gray and Black No. 1, but most people call it Whistler's mother. And it's not that he was obsessed with his mom. I mean, he might have been, what do I know? But he had scheduled a model who didn't show up, and so he painted his mother instead. Hold still, Mom. Hold still. Whistler lived to the age of 69. Tijuana, Mexico was founded on July 11, 1889. I'm a little surprised. I would have thought it was way older than that, but there you go. From the Are You Really Sure You Want to Do That department, on July 11, 1897, a man named Salomon August André left Spitsbergen in northern Norway in an attempt to reach the North Pole by balloon. It didn't work out, though. It wasn't a hot air balloon, so it wasn't that. That wasn't the problem. It was helium balloon. But Andre, along with 2 assistants, experienced a series of issues that contributed to the failure of the mission and their death. First, they lost the apparatus that they intended to use to steer the craft. Then within 10 hours of liftoff, they caught some strong winds from a heavy storm in the area. Heavy winds and then ice buildup on the balloon impeded the flight, and they were forced to make a semi-controlled landing on pack ice. Not really a crash exactly, but they did have to land the thing. Now, they were prepared for survival in the Arctic, plenty of gear, 3 months worth of provisions, but it took them until October to reach land. There's your 3 months right there. It was a Herculean effort trekking their way across that pack ice, and it really wore them out. They stopped keeping records within days after reaching land. They found themselves an island. And it's thought that that's probably when the first one of them died. They buried him in a cairn, with some rocks, And then the other two died in their tent, probably within 2 weeks of their arrival on the island. This is the birthday of essayist and children's writer E.B. White, born July 11, 1899. You might recognize the name. He is the author of the children's book Charlotte's Web. He lived to the age of 86. The book To Kill a Mockingbird was published on this date in 1960. This is a book that almost didn't happen. After she moved to New York in 1949, the author, Harper Lee, had started writing anecdotes about her life in the South, but they just weren't coming together to her satisfaction. In 1957, in a fit of frustration, she threw her manuscript out the window of her apartment. Fortunately, she thought better of that decision and went down and retrieved the pages and started over, ultimately resulting in the book To Kill a Mockingbird. Published in 1960, the book won a Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1961. This novel has sold more than 300 million copies since it was published and has been translated into 40 languages. Since the book's publication, Harper Lee's hometown, Monroeville, Alabama, has become a popular destination for literary tourists, with a Mockingbird Museum and gift shop, and a handful of restaurants named after the book and its characters. It does sound like a fun trip, though, if they're still open. Let me know if you've ever been to Monroeville to see the To Kill a Mockingbird sites and memorabilia. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. Thanks for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And feel free to share this if you found it interesting. You can do that with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. Images are retrieved from Bing Images, either public domain or licensed free to use and share. I think the correct terminology is free to share and use. Our lovely outro music is Divine Life Society by Jesse Gallagher from YouTube Music Library, and there's a link to his channel in the show notes. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. All right, that's fine. Here's the mailman. Let's see how that goes. And there comes the air conditioner. I'm not turning it off, though. Thank you. That might not make it into the video. We'll see. Changing it up.